All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, double honors to my apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the hopeful members of the elect, the Bacharim, the house of David, that's been preordained, predestined to be delivered in these last times, and to be the ruling and governing body of the nation of Yashala. And I want to do a lesson on the conflict that's going on between Israel / the U.S. between Iran. All right, I did this lesson before, but I had to do it again. All right, rewatching it, there's some minor corrections. Okay, so I just deleted it, and here I am. All right, but we're like day 16 now of this ongoing conflict. All right, and you have military draft potentially. You have military draft talk in the air, which that has to go through Congress. Bibi Netanyahu, I guess he's dead. So you have a lot going on. All right, a lot going on, man. All right, so let's get right to it. All right, it says what's happening right now. The U.S. and Israel launched a coordinated military attack on Iran on February 28, 2026, targeting military bases, nuclear facilities, and leadership. The strikes killed Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, and other officials, which dramatically escalated the situation, right? That's what popped it off. Since then, the conflict has turned into an active regional war with attacks and retaliation across the Middle East, and I believe the new Ayatollah will be Khamenei's son. Okay, what the U.S. and Israel are doing, their stated goals include destroying Iran's nuclear missile programs, weakening Iran's military and regional influence, potentially forcing regime change in Iran. Okay, and no nation has ever conquered Iran. All right, it's a mountainous region. You have the Zagros Mountains to the west, the Alborz Mountains to the north. All right, it's a mountainous region. Okay, its own terrain. It's like its own fortress. All right, not even King Alexander conquered that land. All right, the Mongols, none of them. It says they have been carrying out airstrikes across Iranian cities, attacks on military and security facilities, operations against Iranian allies such as Hezbollah and Lebanon. Some strikes have also damaged historic sites in Iran, raising international concern. Iran's response. Iran has retaliated with missile and drone attacks on Israel, strikes on U.S. military bases in the Middle East, right? They hit several places like in Baghdad, all right, a Navy headquarters, okay, U.S. bases, U.S. military bases, okay, which the one they hit in Baghdad, that was like a U.S. embassy, okay, and you see these nations, these Arabian nations, the reason why they even had an alliance with America was for security. So now America clearly can't secure them. They can't protect them. All right. Iran is shooting their missiles. All right, at these several targets over there in the Middle East. Okay. That's gonna cause like that alliance that they have, that the U.S. has with these Arabian nations, that's gonna cease. Okay. You see? It says attacks affecting U.S. allies like the UAE and Jordan. Iran and allied groups have also fired rockets into Israel from Lebanon, Hezbollah, targeted shipping and energy routes in the Persian Gulf. Right. I believe they closed that now. The Strait of Hormuz, which 20% of the world's natural oil flows through that passage. Okay, so expect high inflation. Already gas is skyrocketing in California. Expect high inflation in just in commodities. All right, and honestly, this is just for the elites that want this. All right, to collapse world economies, especially America. This is gonna further issue in a worldwide collapse. Okay, especially towards America. All right. So the new Iranian leadership, I already told you, his son is Mojtaba Khamenei, his son. He'll become the new supreme leader. All right. He has vowed to continue fighting, retaliate against the U.S. and Israel. Global consequences right now. The war is already affecting the world. Energy and economy. Iran threatens to block the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil route, right? Oil markets and global shipping are destabilized. Regional escalation fighting has spread to Lebanon and Gulf states. Casualties. Iranian officials report over 1,300 civilians killed and thousands of sites damaged since the war began. Political reaction. Protests have erupted in the United States and around the world over the war. Okay. And I believe the U.S. is sending like 2,000 Marine troops, all right, over to that region, to the Persian Gulf, okay? And hey, this is all biblical prophecy. This is all biblical prophecy, man, all right? You had some American troops already died due to the Iranian missile strikes, all right? I believe it was like, 7? Okay, and more troops are going to be sent over there. So let me get Joel 2 verse 20. And it says, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army, the American troops, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate." Saudi Arabia, the Arabian region. That's going to be the hot zone of World War III. With his face toward the East Sea, okay, the Euphrates River, which leads all the way out to the Persian Gulf, and its hinder part to the utmost sea, the Red Sea. All right, let me get a map. Okay, let me get a map. I'll just put, Middle East. First, I'll put the Euphrates. I'll just do that. Euphrates River. Get a map. Okay, perfect. Right. It runs all the way through Turkey, Syria, and through Iraq, leading all the way out to the Persian Gulf. All right. That's the East Sea. And the utmost sea is what? The Red Sea. Okay. And then between those two seas is what? The Arabian region. Saudi Arabia. Okay. Right. Look, see? Again, remember I showed you on that map, the Euphrates was going all the way down, Slovakia. It was going all the way down to Persian Gulf. That's where it leads out to. And you have the Red Sea right here. And between those two seas is what? Or between those two, the Euphrates River and the Red Sea is what? Saudi Arabia. Okay. And it says, "And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things." A lot of death, basically. All right, a lot of death. A lot of those troops that are going to be sent over there, a lot of them are going to not come back home. They're going to be sent to the spirit world, especially when Yahushua returns, because all those troops are going to fight each other. And then once Yahushua returns with the host of the holy angels, all right, it tells you that in second Esdras, the 13th chapter, they're going to turn their attention on to him, try to fight the Lord. But it's going to be an ever-losing battle. The Lord's going to obliterate them, okay? Shoot out his laser beams from the chariot, okay? This is all prophecy, man. Jeremiah 50, verse 45. "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. that he had taken against Babylon and its purposes that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Right, and Babylon is America, by the way, okay? And the least of the flock is Israel, Amalek. Those people in Israel today are not the real people of the Most High. All right? They're Edomites, which come out of the tribe of Amalek. All right? Which they run this whole world. They run everything, all the infrastructures, institutions, the financial systems. All right? The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, your international banking families, they control it all. And it says, what again? Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Right, they're drawing them out to this war. Who started it? Israel and the U.S., okay? And ultimately Israel, they've always been a problem, okay? So America being owned by Israel, doing Israel's bidding, they're sending troops. They give Israel, a lot of money for their weaponry. The Iron Dome, for example, the U.S. gave that to Israel. All right, they helped them with that. Okay, and as you can see today, these troops going over there to the Middle East to fight Israel's war. This is how you know that the Bible is true. This is literally happening. This prophecy is literally happening. All right. It's literally happening. And when all that hell breaks loose, when it's full-on World War III, all right, then when it says, like in Joel 2, verse 20, his ill savor shall come up, his stink, all right, all those dead bodies, okay, that's going to come. But before all that has to be the implementation of the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, okay? That's to come first. So, this war that we're seeing, it's going to eventually, die down. Who knows what might happen? But all we know is that the worldwide economy has to collapse. Then the mandation of the RFID chip has to come. And then World War III happening full-fledged. All right? And Ezekiel 38, Russia being a guard unto Iran, several other nations. But, the main characters, Russia and Iran. All right, in that situation, okay, in World War III. And it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. All right? Okay? And so, I'm just looking at these people, man. I hope they don't come in like, man, leave me alone. Go somewhere. It's these people always want to find a way to bother you during, when you're trying to do a lesson. Like, God damn. But, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right, Israel, drawing out what? American troops to basically fight their war. Like, no, get your little ass out of here, nigga. And it says, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right. Because ultimately, Israel and America are both going to get nuked. The difference is Israel, we will inhabit that land again. America will be will burn for a very long time, and then it will just be a desert. It will never be inhabited. Okay. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. Right. Right. Because those ICBM missiles, when they hit, it's going to rock the earth to and fro, and the cry heard among the nations, because it tells you in Revelation 18 how they're not going to make money off this place, okay? And it's going to be most likely televised. That's going to shake the whole world. Like, man, America just got nuked, okay? It's going to be a crazy day. And at the same time, people are going to be seeing UFOs and chariots. All right, people getting beamed up. Salaki, hold on. Hey. Salaki, man. Goodness gracious. It's a little, whatever. YN try to come up in here in this lounge. I had to kick him out. Whatever, slap. Anyways, yeah, you know, they're not going to make any more money off this place, you know, off America. All right. So before I end it with that, I do want to go to this video. Bear with me 1 second. I'm pause. So I'm gonna end it off with this video. All right. You know, Myron's gonna break it down. Okay. He's gonna break it down. Let me see. I'll go to the 53-minute mark, and he breaks it down very well. So
we're talking about a country that's like 2 to 3 times as big as Afghanistan, with double the population, with a real military. It's going to be a slaughterhouse. Option 2, you pull out. But if you pull out, you've effectively removed your footprint in the Middle East. You've lost all credibility, and more than likely, the Gulf states are not going to allow you to rebuild your military bases and project power like you did before, because military bases being there have now proven to be a lie.
Right, exactly. And he has a title, 3 options for Trump, U.S. issues with Gulf states. And again, that alliance is going to break off, okay? With the GCC. But that alliance that America has with those Arab nations, it's gonna cease.
Ability for the Gulf. So the Iranians striking and beating up the Gulf states has actually been like the kingmaker in this situation. Has actually been the genius move. And even Trump admitted in the New York Post that he did not anticipate that they would attack the Gulf so heavily. And they're hitting the Gulf. And the Gulf is calling fucking Trump, the Russians, hey, we need something going on. And then you add on to that not just did we destroy the military bases there and undermine American protection, we've destroyed their income capacity. Why? The Gulf states are all built on 2 main things, tourism and oil.
Right.
The Strait of Hormuz has effectively shut down all their fucking oil transportation projects for the majority, and no one wants to fly there, no one wants to be there, and it's made tourism a risky thing. And obviously with the Gulf states, these are 2 things that all these their economies rely on heavily. Then you add in the fact that Qatar, which runs like 20% of the world's fucking natural gas, is basically shut down with LNG. This is a fucking economic nightmare. And the Iranians have been able to pull this strategy off perfectly. Now they're starting to, attack Israel as they're attacking Israel as well, but attacking the Gulf states was like the X factor. So,
but I thought I was hearing reports that Iran was cloud chasing.
That was it, ultimately the Strait of Hormuz closed down, and Iran putting out mines under the sea, okay, and no vessels, no ships can go through that. All right, that's gonna majorly sabotage and ultimately bring a much more closer collapse to world economies. All right, to these other nations, especially America. Okay, and that alliance that U.S. has with these Arab nations, that's gonna cease, because they're like, hold up, like you guys can't even protect us. All right, I believe Saudi Arabia even like the contract that they have with America, ultimately for the oil, all right, for them to trade in U.S. dollars. I believe they didn't renew that. So this place is on its way out, man. We're going to see a major collapse happening real soon. Okay, real soon. All right. So Lord willing, this was edifying. On to the next one. Shalom.